Hi there. In this video I wanted to improve my Blazor WebAssembly app by adding it a Monte Carlo simulation so that I can do software estimations without having to actually do them. So it's just a forecasting method, and if you are a software developer, chances are that you are asked to do estimations, and this is a way to make it much easier. In order to do that, I'm going to need to use some UI components, and I'm going to be using these Radzen components in order to do a chart. So the first thing I want to do is to create a new project, and it's going to be a Razor class library, and I'm going to call it Radzen Components, just like this. And I also want it to be lazy loaded, so that only when I want to see this chart, so only then are the components loaded and not before. So after doing this, I will need to install. If I go to install Radzen components, so I have to go there to the folder and then just copy here from NuGet this command and just paste it here. And now they are installed. There are some additional steps. One of them or two of them are here in the index HTML. So first there are the style sheets needed, and the second one are the JavaScript, one JavaScript file, so that the chart can be updated. So just like this. And now the component should be accessible if I make it a page. It's a component at the moment, so I'll make it a page called chart. And if I now go here to the app, no, actually to the menu, and I'm going to add an entry called chart, and here it's also called chart. And after doing this, it should already work, but it will not be lazy loaded. So if I start the app, I should be able to see chart here, and it's not working because I'm missing something, and it's here in the App.razor. I have to tell that there are additional assemblies that should be checked. Additional assemblies. And what happens is that by default the app is going to look for pages and components in this assembly, so in the Swiss Army knife assembly. So I have to add it here and say you should also look in here. So I'm going just to write type of and writing component 1, and of course it doesn't know because I didn't add the reference, add reference. So now it's going to find it, yes, and I'm now going to do assembly here, and after I do this, it's going to be able to show the page located in another assembly. But as I said, it's still not going to be lazy loaded. So on start, it's going to load it. And if I come here, the page is being shown from the second assembly. So now I'm going to make it lazy loaded. And in order to do that, I need to come here to program and add a special service, singleton, and it's called LazyAssemblyLoader. So I'll need this one. I also need to come to the project file, and I'm going to add a new item group and say Blazor WebAssembly lazy include, and now I have to call it exactly like this one, or is it exactly like the name of the file, Radzen Components.dll. Should also close it. Yes, I don't need that. Well, can stay like that. So, and after doing this, I still need to do some additional things here in the app. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove it from here, and I'm going to be doing a list new, just like this. And now there is another method that I'm going to override on NavigateAsync. So now it should be overriding it. So rider is, at the moment I'm just doing to do a build, it should suggest to create the method. Yes, I know, it doesn't exist. So it's not helping, so I'm going to write it by hand. I can write here, actually it's going to be private async task on NavigateAsync, and in this case I'll need a navigation context. So now I'll need to add a using here. Actually I need to add an inject, and it will be this is lazy assembly. I'm just going to close the file because it's not giving any IntelliSense. It's just like this one, LazyAssemblyLoader, and it can also be called like this. Why aren't you helping, Rider? Somehow it's not helping. I'm trying to build. See if it starts helping. No. So it now cannot be found, and that has to do that why can it be found? It's located under services. It's correct. And it's also called like this. So I just restarted Rider, and now it's finally suggesting to import a type. Yes, please import. So, and after I do this, I just have to say that if the context path.lower contains chart, then it's going to load the Radzen Components assembly, and to do that I'll need to use this class and say LazyAssemblyLoader.LoadAssembliesAsync, and here I can just write the name of the assembly. So it's called RadzenComponents.dll, and it's going to give the list back. So now I can just do it like this, and I need an await here, and it's going to do a ToList. So I'm adding this one here, ToList, and it's missing a setter. So just like that. So now it should only be loaded if I'm navigating to chart. Can try to see if it works. So if I come here to network and look for Radzen, I can see it is not loaded. There is no Radzen component. And if I now come here to chart, now I see that it's being loaded, and it can be done with any DLL that it's not needed by the others. So this is lazy loading. So since the video is already a bit long, 10 minutes, I'm going to leave the Monte Carlo simulation to the next video. There is also a catch, and that has to do with the registration of services in a second DLL that is to be lazy loaded. So I could not come here and say builder services add scoped. With this one, there is some service here, example service, and since the DLL is lazy loaded, it will not work properly. So I can just show, and I probably am going to do a video about that, how to solve this problem, how to do registration of services from lazy loaded DLLs. So as you can see here, it's now going to complain that it's not working because it was not loaded yet. And that's it for today. Bye.